go. And once commercial air travel started and got affordable, then baseball started spreading farther west.
Didn't the Western teams make their own league up before that?
Yeah, but the best players still went east. They were paid the most money, and they had the most publicity, and so although there was a pretty good league on the West Coast called Pacific Coast League, but it didn't get the publicity.
Okay, we've got to stop for our break now. When we come back, we're going to talk more about baseball, and we're going to take your tweets. So tweet us now, and we'll read them and try to answer them. Come back soon, or stay there.
Stay there.
Okay. How's it going? Are we doing well?
I'm very interested.
You're still awake, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Oh, we have a tweet.
We have a tweet? A new tweet? Oh, I'm seeing new tweets. Oh, here's a good one. Something about a 7-inch stretch.
Do Canadians play baseball?
Do Canadians play baseball? That's good. How can I send a tweet to get answered by John? He just did.
You just did.
Yes. This is great. We have tweets. We never had tweets before. This is amazing.
See, the show's getting popular.
World Series, we talked about that. We talked about that. Okay, talk about that. Playoffs, 8 teams. Did I go over how you win the World Series yet? No, we just talked about the pennant.
Yeah, we got sidetracked.
We didn't mention the pennant either. Okay. Okay, so how much time we have? Okay. I have to insult Sarah. Last time, Sarah wanted to be insulted on the air.
Okay, we're back in 5, 4, 3, 2.
And we're back. And I'm here, ready to take your tweets. I'm here with Scott still. And we have tweets. Question number 1. How can I send a tweet to get answered by John? You just did. What you did is how you send me a tweet. Do Canadians play baseball? Yes. So there's 2 pro teams. Well, there was 2 pro teams.
Right.
There was the Toronto Blue Jays. And
There still are the Toronto Blue Jays.
Still are. And the Montreal Expos, who moved somewhere, right?
To Washington, D.C.
Are they called the Washington, D.C. Expos?
They are not. They're called the Washington Nationals.
Oh, are they in the National League?
Yes.
Okay. Washington Nationals. So they stole another Canadian team. So we had 2 Canadian teams, and then now we have 1. Another tweet. How started 7th inning stretch? Why started 2? So I think he means how did the 7th inning stretch start, and why did they start it?
Well, there's a story about that, and I don't know if it's a myth or true, but since there's a tradition of lying on this show, I'll go ahead
Just
and tell
make up what you think is true.
So there was a U.S. president, Teddy Roosevelt, maybe? No, that's too long ago. Let's say it was Coolidge, who would go to baseball games, and in the middle of the 7th inning, he'd be tired or he'd be sitting there for a long time, and so he got up and stretched. And since he was the president, everybody else wanted to, do what he was doing and not make him feel alone, so they got up and stretched too. And that's the myth or possible true story of how the 7th inning stretch got started.
Oh, that sounds plausible.
It does sound plausible, which is important for a good lie.
Yes. Unlike Keith lies.
It's got truthiness.
Truthiness. I feel it in my gut. Why there's no more Negro leagues? Was there a Negro league?
There were Negro leagues. Up until about the end of World War II, blacks could not play in Major League Baseball. There was no written rule that said that. It was just sort of an understanding among the teams that they wouldn't do it. And after World War II, it seemed kind of silly that blacks could fight in the war alongside whites, but couldn't play baseball with them. So up until then, there were Negro leagues, and all the players were black, and they played in many of the same cities, and sometimes even the same ballparks that the Major League players did. But then in 1947, there was a player named Jackie Robinson.
I know his name.
Yeah,
he's a very famous player.
He's very famous. He actually played in Montreal in the minor leagues, and then he played for the Brooklyn Dodgers, and he was the first black player in the modern era in Major League Baseball. And after that, more came along and kind of, they call it breaking the color line.
Right.
But
So
there were Negro leagues, and then the Negro leagues kind of ended because black players started playing in the major leagues.
Right. Okay. And I think that's our tweets. I'm so excited we actually had good tweets this time.
Yeah, the last one wasn't quite in English, but you translated it very well.
I could figure out what they're trying to say. Okay. So we got sidetracked. We talked about how teams win a league, but not how they go to the World Series. And stuff.
Right. We got as far as the 8 teams.
Right.
And so the 8 teams, it's basically a little tournament. The 8 teams play each other and get down to 4. Okay? And then the 4 teams play each other and get down to 2. And those 2 teams are called the league champions or pennant winners, National League and American League champions. Those are the teams that meet in the World Series. So the World Series is just the last round of this little tournament that starts with 8 teams.
Right. So they all play 5 games?
So in the first round they play best out of 5, so you have to win 3. Then after that it's best of 7, so you have to win 4 to move on.
Okay, and then the World Series itself
is also best of 7, yeah.
Baseball this year is big, for the last few years, in this area because the San Francisco Giants are getting close to being in the World Series.
They're one of the final 4 teams.
Final 4. So where are we now?
We are right in between when the first round has ended. So we now know the 4 teams, and they start playing each other tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So there's the American League Championship Series, which is the Yankees and Texas Rangers. And the National League Championship Series is the Giants and Philadelphia.
So one of these teams is going to win the World Series.
One of those 4, yep.
One of the 4 teams. And so they start playing for the pennant starting tomorrow.
Yes.
And then we'll find out from who wins that. They'll play against each other for the World Series. And then there'll be celebrations in the streets.
There'll be a lot of celebrating in the street. There'll be a lot of crying, and stuff
Interesting
like
story. I heard that kids in the third world wear a lot of T-shirts that say World Series winner and it has the wrong team on it.
Yeah, I've heard that too, and I'm pretty sure it's true because when a team wins, they go to the locker room and they have hats and T-shirts. Actually, they don't even give them out in the locker room anymore. They give them out right on the field. So obviously they print them up ahead of time.
Right.
And then the ones that aren't right get distributed to people who need shirts and hats.
When I bought my World Series T-shirts, when Toronto won twice,
bandwagon.
It'd always be the day after. So clearly they had to start printing them earlier on. So
Same thing with tickets. I have a bunch of tickets to games that never took place because you usually buy the tickets ahead of time. And then you get a refund if they don't play them.
Do third world kids get the tickets?
No, probably they're not that useful to the third world kids.
Okay.
Maybe a scratch paper.
We've got a minute left, so we got to wrap up.
In a minute, we could learn everything else there is to know about baseball.
I need to insult Sarah. Sarah wasn't good enough to come to my show tonight, so pooey on you. See, I don't know how to insult Sarah without being too mean, but she wanted me to insult her.
That wasn't it.
There's a tweet from last month from Sarah saying, insult me more. Okay, next time I'm staying home to see if the quality of the insults improves. So that was for Sarah. Hope she's at home watching.
I think the quality didn't improve.
I'm not allowed to have a call for action on the show. So I can't say go out and vote November 2nd. I can just say November 2nd, we're having elections. So if you're interested, go and
find out.
Yes. Next show is November 11th. In Canada, it's Remembrance Day. Here, it's Veterans Day. This has been John Wants Answers for October 14th. I'd like to thank my crew, director, Loretta Beavers. We had technical director, Tom Clark. Audio, Bill Snow. The deco, titles, was Rocky Austin. Floor director, Mike Harris. Camera was Jim Twu. And it was Ted Milkey. And our engineer was Josh Young. And you're seeing all the names on the screen now. So if I talk too fast, you can write down what they're saying, what it says on the screen. Okay. It's been great.
I can't say go watch baseball.
You can't? That'd be a call to action.
So I won't do it.
If you'd like to watch baseball, it's on TV.
And the internet.
And the internet.